Hello everybody, welcome to my Chiara guide. It's going to be a tanky Chiara as opposed to the crit based Chiara, which I've released a guide about before. The beauty about this one is it is super easy to finish top 3 with a lot of kills, as this build finishes very quickly, is very easy to make, very reliable, and does make your ult mean that you're an absolute killing machine that can pretty much withstand anyone's burst damage, and that's important for climbing those rank ladders. So onto the build. The weapon is the Voltoletto or the Voltosetto. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but it's the rapier with the attack power, attack speed, crit chance, critical damage, and the cooldown reduction, which is super important. Onto the chest, which is the battle suit. Again, skill damage reduction, bit of HP, bit of defense. Crystal Tiara for the defense and the SP, which comes in very handy in those long sustained fights, which you're going to be having with the tankier builds. The sheath as well, so a bit of attack power, HP obviously, and normal attack power reduction. The boss phallus, the nice little legs there, a bit of defense, bit of attack power, bit of crit chance, and obviously the move speed. And finally, the Chiwa, which is the SP regen, lifesteal, and skill amp. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, isn't Schrodinger's box better? Isn't the magazine better for the raw HP? Yes and no. I would say, because this build finishes so quickly, the SP regen and the lifesteal is actually huge on Chiara in these sort of tanky builds, just for, as I said, those long sustained fights where you're going to be trading food, you're going to be trading, you know, as many hits as possible. You kind of want that little bit of lifesteal and the SP regen just to keep yourself topped up. Make sure you can use your skills, as using your skills for Chiara is massively important. So the build path then is a very simple one. You start hotel, generally uncontested. You then teleport from hotel over to pond. Pond is where you want to pick up your first branch. And that'll allow you to build into the upgraded jacket ready. Avenue is where you obviously want to pick up the I've messed that up. So Avenue is where you want to sort of start completing some items as well. So when you get to Avenue, you will get the glass bottles here, which is when you want to pick up your stones. And as soon as you get your circlet, pick up a branch as well, and that'll allow you to complete your sword and your accessory, and then you've got your arm slot done as well. You want a couple of bits of leather at some point during Avenue and Alley. So usually what I do is pick up the chickens and the dogs just on the way out. And then once you've got that, that'll allow you to basically complete all your other parts of this too. So once you get to Alley, and obviously your build's completed, I tend to take fights as I finish my weapon. So I usually finish my weapon very early on in Avenue, and that's when I start to take like the sort of level 6, level 7 fights if you've built correctly. Generally, when you're in pond as well, pick up the flowers and the herbs, and they make the what they called. I can never remember the name of them. But they make the good food, which is the orchid. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. So once you're there, make the orchid, make some good food, make sure you keep topped up. Late game. So generally what I tend to do is switch it up. So if I get some myth, I will generally switch it up to the mithril armor. Mithril shield is also a very good switch, and the mithril helm. So this build does rely heavily on myth. So kill bears, loot blue crates for the myth. If you do manage to get yourself a force core, you can either make the boots of Hermes, or the auto arms is also very good. Nice bit of defense, and the attack power is huge. If you can't get the Hermes, or you get a blood pack, the red shoes are also very good just for those longer fights, and the move speed is huge on them, so you can generally engage as you want. On to Chiara herself then. So this build's a little bit different. Basically, you want to be taking your ult over everything, obviously. Next thing you want to be taking is the E and the passive. So they work really well together. After the E and the passive, you want to be building your W, just because it gives you such a huge shield And obviously it can blow up if they don't devastate the heal. The Q is kind of like a DPS decrease. It's only really good for catching. Obviously, if you hold that Q, it turns into a straight line where you're pretty much guaranteed if you hit them, you're going to catch them. Combine that with your E, which locks them down, and it's happy days, along with the sword skill as well. No one is getting away from Chiara, and that's exactly what you want. Now, the ult is something that people don't really understand. So let me just explain it. So the ult, obviously, A, gives her a HP increase. B, puts an aura around her that constantly damages, and C, actually makes her attacks ranged. So you don't need to be toe-to-toe with someone. So if they're running, they're still going to take damage. You want to try and keep on top of them as much as possible, obviously. But yeah, make sure that you understand that her ult boosts your match HP, deals constant damage, makes your attack range as well. And also, and the other part is actually has a life drain built into the damage dealt. So once Plague is activated, which is a ult, she gains vision of all enemies that have a maximum amount of stigmas. So basically, as long as you keep on top of someone and keep using your skills, they can't actually escape your vision range. Finally, as it's running out, or as the enemy is very, very low HP, it has a built-in execute. So you can reactivate it on someone. And will cause Chiara to crash down upon an enemy with the maximum amount of stigmas, dealing true damage and ending the plague. So obviously it does end the ult. Killing enemies with last judgment reduces the cooldown of plague. So you always want to kind of end it on this last judgment. It resets your cooldown. It gives them a lot of damage straight away, and that's what generally causes you to win fights. So if someone's quite low, you will see that I will use a judgment in order to, A, it makes you disappear for a second, so they can't get a skill off, so you can use it as an iframe if you're very quick, but B, it just absolutely executes them. So, as I said, we've gone through the build, we've gone through the skills, and we've gone through the end game switching, which is huge. You want to switch those myth items as quick as possible. Always looking for upgrades if you can. Have a look at your lobby as well. If someone is building, you know, a lot of burst damage, maybe switch to, you know, accessory that has, you know, max HP like the magazine or Schrodinger's. But again, always be looking for those upgrades. Make sure you get your sword skill as quick as possible as well. Make a difference. Onto the gameplay now. So I'm just going to show you a game that I won, dominated early, and then a few fights from some other games using this exact build as well. So keep an eye on the item switches, because that's a big deal. And yeah, hope you enjoy. Thank you. So this is the sort of first fight in this game. It's been relatively straightforward so far. Built myself some food, but as you can see, the build finishes really quickly. I have the motorcycle helmet here because I picked it up. But yeah, look how far ahead we are of this Fiora. She just can't do anything. So you can see her try to run, and the range attack and the last judgment going down. Allows us just to pick up a few bits, finish this off. But look at the cooldown on that ult, 40 seconds, because we managed to kill her with the last judgment. So is so important, getting those little bits in there.
Survivor has been eliminated.
And because of that kill, we've basically full built by 6 minutes. So that was just one kill and just general quick build pathing. So you can see here at the top, I actually switched to my late game build just so I kind of know what I'm after. I know generally what I'm after, but it's nice to kind of have those indicators there. So I'm killing bears now for the chance at Mithril. And then I'm just looking to take fights because I feel like I'm so far ahead. I have my weapon skill. I see a Jackie, so we're just going to go take that fight. As you can see here, spotted the Jackie. It's going to be hard for her to get away. We just have so much damage with that ultimate as well. So as the fight gets a bit closer, I will pop the last judgment I didn't manage to pop it there, but you see, the Jackie actually had a mithril shield and she was full built, so you can see how powerful this build can be. But if you take a look at the ult, that's what happens when you don't use it. The cooldown is actually about 90 seconds as opposed to 45, so it's a huge difference. But we do manage to secure the kill just from basically bigger food, better gear, and a bit of a better game plan. At this point in the game, we were actually chasing a Yuki who managed to slip away, and it's very rare for anyone to get away from Chiara. But we do find a Hyjin who's chasing him, and even with her crazy mobility, if you land your stuns at the right time, there's just absolutely nothing they can do. So easy kill picked up there. Just good use of the E and the D skills just to lock them down. We do manage to locate the Yuki. And with the ult ready and popped, it's very rare that they can get away. So I do use the Last Judgment a little bit early, just to kind of make sure he doesn't get away, just to secure the kill. But I'm happy at this point even just to take the 2-on-1. And again, even with Shoichi, it's kind of hard to get away. He does manage to slip through though. So during the past couple of minutes, I've basically been wandering around looking for mithril upgrades, but with the R, the life drain on it is actually significant with some good food. And again, just pop that Last Judgment just to stop them getting away, just to kind of get the cooldown back, and that ending burst damage execute catches nearly everyone off guard. But look at that, with 2 points, your R's basically up again in about 30 seconds, so you're ready to take another fight, as opposed to, you know, the minute and a half cooldown that might bring. So again, just look for those Last Judgment kills, look for the item switches. I wasn't too lucky this game. Usually I get, you know, a couple of bits of myth, or, you know, the auto arms or the shoes, etc. But even with just the full build plus the myth shield, you're pretty good. So again, because I used the Last Judgment, I'm ready to fight again straight away, although I don't feel I kind of needed it, as that Shoichi was very glass cannon. A couple more clips coming up, so stay tuned from other games. This clip here, I want to just kind of showcase how strong an early game Chiara can have. So we get jumped here again. Hyunwoo doesn't really have a lot of SP, but with the ult and the shield and decent food, Hyunwoo just dies. And he had a finished weapon, finished headpiece. So yeah, without the SP, just kind of couldn't make it work. But even so, very, very strong early game, as you can see. Again, almost straight after that Hyunwoo fight, our ult is almost off cooldown already this early in the game, which means when we find a nice seller like this, we're ready to pop our ult again, ready to take the fight. And as you can see, the true damage once again comes through, just deals so much, able to pick up a few bits and carry on killing throughout the game. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you have, please hit the like and subscribe. I'm releasing guides all the time, as well as live streaming here on YouTube. All your likes, comments, shares, etc. really help, so would really appreciate it if you haven't already to hit that button. And I'll see you around next time. Let me know how you got on. Thank you.